Hey, we're on air. All right, everybody, happy Thursday, December 28th. This is a meeting to talk about Backdraft CMS development tasks. In the past week, we've had 3 releases for contrib projects. Image URL formatter, there's a little discussion about whether that should go in core or not, but it exists in contrib for people who need it now. It's now available. Metatag had a new release that included some fixes to the Facebook Open Graph tags and the Twitter card stuff. So that should work a little better. And there's going to be another release. If you're using Metatag, there's going to be another release today that includes the favicon submodule. So don't update yet. No security fixes in that. So no rush. So wait till later today. You'll get another submodule. There's also a new module called Hacks. I don't know what Hacks is. Find out real quick though. Nope, I can't find out real quick. Anyway, there's a module called Hacks. You can check it out. I don't know what it does. It needs a better formatted README before we'll know. But yeah, it's great that even during the holidays, people are busy making backdrop stuff. So thank you everybody for making backdrop stuff. For the website, there's a bunch of activity going on backdropcms.org. As we mentioned last week, there's a new footer and a new drop-down menu. The try backdrop page Jeff has made for us. I'm going to test it out again today. I think I did it last week, but it didn't get merged, so I don't remember why. And we're also working on adding some of the other missing design elements from our header back in there. I just stumbled across one of those issues today too, and I'll take another look at that and see if we can't get a little closer. The forum site was announced via newsletter this week. You guys probably all got that. And there seems to be a flurry of activity going on there, which is pretty exciting. We've got a bunch of new people who don't usually contribute in the issue queue participating in the forum, which is exactly what we wanted, because these are people who might not have GitHub accounts but still have questions or comments about Backdrop. So I'm excited to see that working. I'm also excited to see an absence of spam, which is something that we got initially, but now seems to be under control. So thank you, reCAPTCHA, for solving all our problems. There's also a couple of questions in there that are marked as frequently asked questions, which is great. I'd love to see more of that. So if anyone else is in there as a logged in as a moderator, if you see something that you think is a common question that you've heard a bunch of times, maybe it's the first time in the forum, it's okay to tag that one as frequently asked question. I also added a flag called archive. So if somebody sees a question that looks like something that isn't going to be valuable long term, like a problem with a specific site or something that is a problem with forum site, for example, or the API site that has been fixed, I'm tagging them with archived, and if they have the flag archived on them, they won't show up in the main forum list, but they will show up like in somebody's following list if they're following it, or in the list of things that they've ever contributed to, so they'll still have access to their own issues or anything they've participated in any way. But it won't show up in the main forum category if it's something that's been resolved, so new people won't be like, oh, what's wrong with the site, and then get to it and read the issue and say, oh, nothing. So for those of you who are moderators in the forum, please keep an eye out for those kinds of things too, so that we can keep the noise level down and the quality level up over there. Yep, thanks to everybody who's working in the forum. I think it's really exciting to see questions getting answered. Jeff, I think you jumped in and answered some questions last week when they came up, so fantastic that we're getting back to people so quickly. And that's it for Backdrop related websites. Nate, I'd like to turn it over to you for status update on Backdrop itself.
Okay, super. Camera is off today, having a bandwidth issue. Okay, so let's see here. So Backdrop 1.8.1, we continue to have a set of cross-ports that are pending just some tiny little work to get Backdrop up to date with bug fixes coming into Drupal as well. Those are issues 20, 13, and then 27, 74, 75, and 76. So all of those still just a couple of lingering items there. We'll see about, I'd like to get those kind of knocked out so that we could release 1.8.1. We're not actually held up in any way there, but still going to put that out there as something that I think would be great to get into the next bug fix release. Let's see, there's a couple of other items that we've seen some recent activity on and some requests from people. Issue 2845, that you cannot delete a cloned default view. So if you copy a view and then try to delete the copy, it doesn't let you do that. The code is great, but the tests need to be updated, it looks like. So issue 2845 is back and needs a little bit of work. Let's see, deleting a node should not validate the form. This is like one of those things that's kind of been around forever, that when you delete a node, or if you edit a node and then click the delete button, it throws validation errors if you have a blank title or something like that. That's issue 2594. Looks like this has been reviewed by others, which is great. I'll take a look at that as well. I'm guessing it looks like the code is probably good, but maybe, I don't know. We'll see if we need tests on that. It depends on what approach was used. Those are the items for 1.8.1. I think that I'm not quite sure whether or not we're going to see 1.8.1 before the release of 1.9 or not. I've been thinking about cutting one January 1st, along with a preview release for 1.9. But at this point, 1.9 is pretty modest in its feature set. I don't know. I probably wouldn't hurt to cut one anyway. So maybe I should just stick to the plan and say we'll probably be seeing those at the beginning of next week. We can always make more, releases. More releases are always better than fewer. So that's it for 1.8.1. 1.9, we're coming right up on feature freeze, which is in just 4 days, January 1st. And I know, it's right in the middle of the holiday season. And I had some optimism going into holidays. I was like, oh, this would be great. Everybody's going to have all this free time. Nope. Turns out we went on holiday, and that is just A-okay. That is what holidays are for. So I hope everybody's been having just as an enjoyable holiday as I have, which has been really pretty great. Let's see. So let's talk about 1.9 items. We can still knock out some of these guys. In particular, 2796, the ability to edit an existing file. This one's just been chilling out, just lacking a minor terminology change and an update hook to edit a view. Totally manageable for 1.9 still. Let's see. Follow-ups on top of that one, the ability to upload a file manually separate of any content is issue 2633. That one hasn't seen any activity recently, but I don't know. That one can get a little bit involved. We might be able to knock out something simple and elaborate on it later, possibly. But that one is in a state that needs some work. And then fieldable files is issue 2632. Again, has a very promising pull request there, but something that I don't know. It's pretty unlikely that would get finished in the next couple of days. We also have the possibility here of getting in the basic functionality and then making sure that it's completely clean over the first 2 weeks of January. But I don't like to completely rush in things that are just came out of nowhere in at this point. So the things that we have started, I'd like to see and leave any new endeavors for the 1.10 release. Let's see, hang on. There's more items yet. the ability to show and hide translated node links is issue 2910. That pull request has been reviewed by others. I think it needs review by a committer, but that one seems like it is ready to go for the most part. Let's just get a committer review on that, whether it's myself or Jeff in the next couple of days.
I wrote it, so I'd prefer that you reviewed it.
Okay, absolutely. Okay, well, yeah, that one's completely, sounds like it's in my corner. I can get that reviewed. Let's see, issue 704. This isn't a 1.9 item, but is one that is worth talking about anyways. Configuration translation. There's a starter PR on this. Is there been anything new since we last met, Jeff?
No, nothing new. And I think we did decide to take this out of 1.9 until we can further it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's any updates on that. But it is great that we have a start on a pull request and we have an outline of a plan in the issue. So that looks like it'll be a great foundation for building up that functionality. That one, even once we decide on the plan and actually begin to execute it, it'll take a fair amount of effort to update the implementations throughout core of strings that use strings that are in configuration that use T, right now the T function, and we'll switch them over to the new method that we build out. So that one will probably need to start early on in the release cycle and then try to get through all of the conversions during that cycle. So that one's got some great promise, but we'll be targeting for 1.10. Let's see. One more item. Looks like there's renewed activity again around issue 100. I love that that's such an even number for pageless nodes. And pageless nodes conceptually has been evolving quite a bit in Contrib with the port of the rabbit hole module. But it looks like there's some more activity here suggesting that we continue like simplifying this idea and then building into core as core functionality. Jeff, you've been involved in this. Do you want to elaborate further on thoughts or plans there?
Yeah, it's basically, the pull request is a lightweight rabbit hole for nodes only type of deal. And it's pretty simple and it works. And my main motivation for it is it's going to solve the issues that are mentioned in the issue queue, such that we can use content like in a views, like for a slider that you won't have to drill down to a page, but you still want to use that content in the view slider or in a block. But my main motivator was it will allow us to have a system to translate blocks, the same system that we use to translate nodes. And then we just leverage the placing nodes as a block to have translatable blocks.
Cool. Yeah. Everything I think has already been, I've already expressed everything I possibly can around this, which is basically really strong ambivalence. So I don't think I'll rehash it here, but that's awesome to put that up in code form. And let's continue kind of taking a look at that in the issue queue. And there's a new sandbox in there I see, so people can try out this new functionality, hashing that out via the issue queue and see what kind of feedback we can garner there.
There's a lot of feedback that occurred on the PR itself, just FYI.
Okay, great. So that is issue 100 once again. So There's a new pull request put up there just in this past week. Mike, anything you'd like to add there? I saw you unmute there for a second.
No, I just wanted to say that I've got the same ambivalence towards it. I'm just reading the pull request now. And if it seems like it's working in contrib for the moment, I'd like to see how that works out before moving into core, unless there is a pressing need of something we can't do without changes to core.
The translation is the thing that we would get out of it.
But I mean, if you use the contrib module right now, you can still do the same translation, right? Like there's nothing keeping...
The contrib module doesn't work because the way it implements the hook doesn't respect the 404s and 403s.
Why is that the case? Like what changes has to happen to core in order to get that functionality to work?
I started looking at that, but I haven't figured out exactly what needs to happen there to make the contrib version work.
So last week we decided that in the contrib version of the module, we just had to add 2 calls to Drupal or backdrop set title, and then the contrib module could have a release that worked. And right above both of those calls, we just need to add a code comment that links to the core issue to try and figure out if the problem is with backdrop access denied and backdrop not found, if those functions need to include the call to backdrop set title instead, or if there's some reason that the current calls to set the title aren't working because of our menu callback functions or something. But it would be less than 5-minute change to get the contrib module working. So I think we should definitely do that. And then that way we have a solution for anyone in contrib who needs pageless nodes. And it'll give us a little more time to review the pull request, which I think we should do anyway. But figure out if that's the solution that we want to take for core.
Sounds good. FYI, it's backdrop access denied and what was the other function?
Backdrop not found.
Not found. Those are working fine. It's where those are called from in the contrib module that makes it behave like that. So that's good, but it still might need some examination on how that implementation of that hook is on core.
Yeah, there might be some like hook menu alter magic or something that could be done instead to have it happen as a menu callback instead of as, you know, like an exit before it would do whatever it normally does. There's a couple of different ways that could work, but I think that if the problem is that the titles aren't working, like the 5-minute fix might be enough just to get it out and working. And then we can kind of look at it and say, okay, this is probably not the best way to solve this problem. Let's figure out like where in the menu system we should be interrupting instead of what we are doing. But at least if we could get a working solution of that module out, I think that might unblock a bunch of people. So I would still start there.
Okay, great. Yeah, I feel like we can just talk ourselves in circles on this item. The underlying, maybe not underlying, but one of the goals that Olaf has been stressing is that core itself should be able to have full translation functionality or internationalization functionality without any contrib modules, which I think is an admirable goal. And I think that's how this got brought back in, and especially under the translation category, that translating blocks is a strange process right now. And so trying to find a way to have translatable blocks is how this got brought back into this. Reusing nodes would, in many ways, just kind of mitigate that need. So I think the idea, you know, let's make it so the backdrop has strong internationalization and translation abilities out of the box is a great one. Whether or not this is the solution or one of the many solutions to achieve that goal, yeah, we can still discuss.
Yeah, that sounds like a reasonable plan.
Okay, that's it for the 1.9 summary update. We've only got a couple of days left in 2017. Thank goodness. And yeah, we're gonna head right into the new year with the 1.9 release. Big or small, it's always great to get a new release out of Backdrop. And so, yeah, 2017's been a little bit of a rough and tumble year, but Backdrop has been growing throughout it. And so, yay, congratulations on the good year. And that's it for the status updates on the project for 2017. Let's go into general discussion and Q&A. Jeff, I see you added an item into the agenda regarding commit messages. Do you want to bring that up and we can discuss a little bit?
Yeah, excuse me, yes. Yeah, so recently I've been using this format of commit messages when you have an issue queue that's in one repo and the commits are going against another repo. So if you just format them in this backdrop/backdrop-issues hash issue number, then it will link up the PR to the issue queue where the issue is being discussed. So if we're okay with having that format as our commit message, we'll get the advantage of them being referenced in the issue. Whereas right now people have to manually paste in the PR into the issue queue.
Yeah, so I'm sharing my screen to demonstrate this a little bit better. Yeah, you're right that when you leave a commit message, you can say basically repository name / or group name / repository name issue number in the commit message, and it cross links automatically in GitHub. I think I thought about doing this initially, or having this be our format initially, but I think I shied away from it just because it didn't match the existing Drupal conventions. But the way that we have it right now, I didn't foresee that we would end up with the funny side effect that not only do we not link back to the original issue in the commit message, we actually accidentally cross-link to other pull requests from the Backdrop repository. So if we just say issue number 100, and it's like, pull request 3000 or something like that, it accidentally cross-links over to pull request 100, which may have been closed for the last 3 years. And so you end up with these funny cross-links in between pull requests on GitHub that have nothing to do with each other. So I kind of think for that reason, pursuing this might be a good idea. I think my only hesitations are in the fact that it's so verbose, and it's a change. So we'd have to either train people or as part of our merge process, we normally squash and merge, and that gives us the opportunity to rewrite the commit message. So, we could do it at that layer that, we're already usually rewriting commit messages for brevity or clarity. We could reformat the issue number at the beginning as well. But it also gives us a lot less space in the commit message, because I know GitHub really likes those short commit messages. And so including the repository and group name makes it a little bit longer. But what
does GitHub do if you
there's no actual restriction on length of commit message. So maybe that's not really a concern.
What do you mean GitHub likes shorter commit messages?
Oh, was that Mike?
Yeah. I said, what do you mean by GitHub doesn't like shorter commit messages, or doesn't like longer commit messages?
After, I think, 80 characters, it automatically puts an ellipsis in the title of the issue, and then puts the remainder of the commit message in the summary of the issue. And when you go to hit the merge button, it'll do the same thing, that it'll automatically cut off the commit message and then put the rest of it in as a note on the commit, which, it's an annoying behavior, because if I want a long commit message. I want a long commit message, and I don't care what GitHub really wants. But it has this functionality in place that kind of really pushes people to use an 80-character commit message limit.
Mm-hmm. What if we stick this? What if we stick the issue number at the end of the message? What does it do then? Would that help at all?
I think it cross-links it correctly if you put it at the end of the message as well. But then you'd end up with GitHub automatically trying to put that in the note instead of in the commit message itself or in the issue summary. Yeah. And then it might not end up in the commit message at all.
Okay, here's another question. Do we need the backdrop slash, or what happens if you just put backdrop issues #100? I think GitHub knows to look, because both are in the backdrop organizations. I think if you just put backdrop issues 100, that should be enough without adding the organization name in front of it.
You know, I don't know. I've not tried that. I can do a test real quick. I can just leave a comment on a PR and it will see if it can cross-link. That would be handy.
So that knocks down at least a few characters.
I'm going to try it and just see what happens here. Nope, does not automatically do anything. But if I say backdrop / issues 100, then it does. Yeah.
Well,
you guys are actually watching my screen, so you guys can see it there. Yep.
Well, at least we could do a shortened version to prevent the cross posting. So if we just put BI #100, that would at least solve the cross posting into the wrong issue in the backdrop repository. It wouldn't create the right issue. No, without a space.
Yeah, no, I'm just showing what happens. So this is the kind of accidental cross-linking we get all the time, where it's like, this accidentally cross-linked to, this pull request, which is issue 32, which is pull request 100. Yeah.
But if in the commit message we would just do like issue without a space, like #100, then it'll at least not link to the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't. Yeah.
But I like the proposal. I think that maybe we should try putting this full backdrop issues number in it. That seems like the best course of action, even though it'll limit our character count.
Yeah, I kind of recall this conversation previously as well, that I at the time I felt like I didn't want to have the permanent history of our project using GitHub specific syntax. But on the other hand, I'm also kind of like, well, we're already in many ways tied permanently into GitHub based on our issue numbers. So, although I've actually found that's not the case. If you migrate into GitLab, it actually maintains issue numbers as long as you start with a fresh repository. But I'm not sure that, I don't know. I shouldn't even be thinking about such things, but I don't know, Jeff. Let's think on it a little bit. I don't think that we're going to reach an answer right away, if that's okay. Do you have anything else that you'd like to add that you think that we missed in that exchange?
Those are the things, and of course it's okay to think about it.
Yeah. This might be a good issue for the project management committee too, just to just to go through that, since it is sort of a meta issue.
Yeah. Yeah, community feedback would be good as well. I don't know, maybe we should make it a normal issue initially, just see if there's any other feedback that we've missed.
Or put an issue in backdrop ops or something. I don't know where the appropriate place is where we can get the most feedback.
Probably here you're going to get the most feedback.
Yeah, okay.
By here, you mean in the meeting or in backdrop issues?
In the meeting.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Well, our feedback is, man, we don't know.
Yeah, it is kind of. There's good and bad things about it.
Sleep on it, and we'll discuss it again next week.
Let's table it.
Maybe it'll be maybe nobody cares. We'll see how we feel next week.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. There's one more item. Translation and internationalization. I don't think there's actually any updates in this issue number 1 in the IT. Is this something that is new this week, or is this leftover from last week's meeting?
Leftover, I think.
Okay. All right. Let's not rehash that then, and let's call it a meeting. So thank you, everybody, for joining, and thank you, everybody. Any last words, Jen?
Nope, I'm happy.
Okay. Well, Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you guys so much for 2017, and we'll see you guys next year.
Woo!
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.